that. So there's, that's what I mean by designing it intelligently, and this is a really important thing. So, to continue, another thing that would, that people think that a resource-based economy would be impossible is because of human nature. They think that we're born, with greed, and we're born with the way that we are, or it's inherited, or genetically, and it just doesn't exist, because if you're born on a tropical island, and you're gonna have certain values and whatever, and you place that person in the city, whatever, they're not gonna know what the hell to do. Everything's gonna look strange to them. So it hasn't. And they've only learned to a certain degree. They only have education to a certain degree. So that is something that you have to understand, that we can't just be dropped into this new, resource-based economy. We have to understand that there is a whole mindset that has to shift completely, so that way you can, that you can continue to live. You have to really identify what your wants and your needs are, and go from there. So human nature doesn't exist. It's human behavior, that has always existed and has always been changing. It's constantly changing. The people way back when, the knights or whatever, you have to give them honor. If not, they'll cut off your heads or whatever. You know what I mean? People today, they don't do that. I mean, the general population, they don't do that. They're living in, they're much more civil. But at the same time, they're just being conditioned. They don't really know what real civilization is. So human nature doesn't exist. It's really human behavior is is how we think. Is how we behave. And when you have human, your human behavior varies. Your behavior varies. Some people, have good behavior, but if you're and some people have bad behavior, and it's constantly changing. And when you have, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. When you, when you have the monetary system, this is where I want to go. When you have the monetary system, it inherently creates what they call aberrant behavior, corrupt behavior. It's just automatic. When you have competition and whatever, everything's in competition. Like I said, you're constantly stabbing people in the back, and when you say, "Hey, how are you doing today?" or you say, "Have a great day" to your neighbor, or whatever, you really don't care about your neighbor. Because the first thing is about your self-preservation, right? So we're conditioned to have this human behavior, and then we're reconditioned to think that it's natural. So that is something that you really have to understand as well. And the next thing I'm going to say is stuff that we don't need. So we have to realize that there are things that we don't need, and I'm just going to go into it just a little bit. Prisons, for example. We don't need prisons. I mean, majority of the population in jails are people that have stole money. The reason why they're stealing money is because they're trying to buy their freedom. That's all they want. They just want to be free. But since they make it illegal because they want people to be, to do modern slavery in order to survive, they make a law, and they break the law, so they throw them in prison. Prisons don't exist in a resource-based economy. There's no point. Same thing with police. Police doesn't exist either, because you don't have to create laws. There are laws, they don't have to exist. I mean, someone that's a child molester or whatever, that is something that's absolutely terrible. You probably think that they deserve to be put in jail. But basically what they really need is education. They need to be educated, or re-educated, that that type of thing is completely wrong. And the reason why they're that way in the first place is because of the society that they've been surrounded by, or anything that they've seen to pick up, and any type of aberrant behavior or movies or anything. It's amazing how we can pick up, or we can grow up, right? We learn our behaviors through our society. We learn our behaviors through our family. We learn it through our culture. If your parents raise you a certain way, you're going to end up acting like your parents. If you have kids that raise up all by themselves, they're not gonna act like they grew up with parents at all. So it all varies, right? So Cruelty. People will be nicer to each other in a resource-based economy because there's nothing, there won't be anything bothering them. You know what I mean? There won't be any problems. People just have the capacity to be as creative as they possibly can, and they can fulfill any dream that they want. You know what I mean? So there would be no stress. There's no bills. You think about all the things you can eliminate. There's no bills. There's no paperwork. You don't have anything. I mean, if you have paper in the house at all, it's probably just for painting or something like that. Who knows? You know what I mean? There's so much stuff that you can eliminate. You don't need an ID card. You don't need a wallet. You don't need this. You don't need that. There's so many things. So, like I said, law won't exist. Stockbrokers, so this is like businesses that won't exist. Stockbrokers, there's no money, so you don't need stockbrokers. Bankers, there's no money, there's no corruptness. You can't corrupt anything. You can't persuade someone. You can't corrupt them with money because there's nothing to provide them. If you provide if you provide somebody access to resources, to everything that they can possibly need, not necessarily want, but what they actually do need, then you can't persuade them into anything. You can't go into a distribution center and take 6 TVs because you can't sell them to anybody. So this is something that's interesting. So you don't need bankers. There's no business. You make something, you can give it to someone for free, and you made it not because you were told to or because you're trying to make money. You made it because you wanted to. Or you want to give it to the world. You want to share it, share that idea, help progress the planet. Advertising. You don't need to advertise anything. It doesn't make any sense because money doesn't exist. So you have to understand all these things. You don't need them. So like I said, so a resource-based economy. And what it is the intelligent management of the Earth's resources. Now that's a very important statement because it's not just managing the Earth's resources, it's doing it intelligently in the most intelligent way possible. And the way to do that is with artificial intelligence. By creating technology, what you can do is you can, the artificial intelligence through the machines, you will be able to come up with decisions, no politics, no leaders. You'd be able to come up with decisions just through the intelligent management of resources. If you're able to continuously monitor the Earth's resources as the entire planet intelligently, then you will know what are the best resources possible so you can create the most efficient products that that people can use, and not just create products because the society is constantly emerging, it's constantly changing. So it's products that can be constantly upgraded. So if there's an idea that you have out there, you can contribute. You can really contribute. You don't have to vote. You can contribute by seeing through the intelligent management, of seeing what we have, what is best, to put a bridge here, or to do this over there, or to do that over there, or to create something new. You would have access to an internet type idea, and it has, which is free. Remember, everything's free, but it's more as a central database that is like an integrated database that you can not only surf the internet or whatever, but you can also what's the word I was looking for? You can interact with this database. If you want to invent something, you can see if it's been invented or whatever, or if you need something to be repaired, you can take a look at the same make and model of a vehicle or whatever and see what's broken and see exactly what the problem could be, and you can repair it that way. Not by hand, of course. Everything would be automated. But the type of jobs that people would have would be like managerial, not manager, well, kind of, yeah, manager, like no, not manager, monitoring. Monitoring the status, right? So people could work 2 hours a day if they want. People can work 4 hours a day if they want. They don't have to work 8 hours a day. They don't even have to work at all. I mean, this could be teams that are just made up of people that want to work or want to continue. So and I'm just going to stop right there when it comes to that. So that's what a resource-based economy. So what about all the people that don't work? Well, they can do whatever they want. There's recreation centers, there's education, you can learn whatever you want. Everything is at your fingertips. Seriously, you can travel and you don't have to worry about traveling for hours and hours. You can do anything. You can help do you can help work, you know,